Hey, everybody, David here. Just a quick note to explain what this podcast is. This is me talking with Ian and Deneé from the Captain's Pod. They're going to be covering Starfleet Academy, and we recorded a quick season preview because they're going to be covering episode to episode starting in a couple of days. So we jumped on and recorded this. This has gone out on their feed, and we wanted to cross-post it over here on our feeds. So any of the Lorehounds community that are into Star Trek and are interested in checking out Starfleet Academy, you can head on over to the Captain's Pod. And let's head on into this podcast with Ian and Deneé.
That never gets old.
That's me screaming.
Were you singing too, David?
I was noticing the derpy tune.
Isn't it amazing?
Derpy.
One of our fans made our music.
Fabulous.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, fans.
Thank you. You guys ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Why are we here, David? Why are we here?
Yeah, David, why did
What are
you
we
bring us
doing?
into this meeting today?
Wait, is this my intro or is this your intro?
This is your intro.
Should we do that again?
No, let's do it.
Hey, everybody, David from the Lorehounds here.
Our patrons in particular will be used to the chaos.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'm here with some very special friends. Captain Ian and Ambassador Deneé from the Captain's Pod. Happy New Year, guys.
Ooh, Happy New Year, David. Hello.
I'm so happy to see you guys. It's so cozy here to hang out with you.
Pleasure.
Isn't it?
Two of us are in the same room. We wish you were in the same room.
We got the cozy chairs
sweet.
out.
Move to Missouri.
One day when we have a moot and we have a Lorehounds moot, we will invite all the pods and we'll all be there together.
It'd be glorious.
So-
Yeah, I would love that.
Yes, we're talking, right? There's things afoot.
Mm-hmm.
Things are afoot. That said, we are here today because I was thinking that in the Lorehounds community, there are a lot of Trekkers, and we don't cover Trek on our show. It was just a thing. We just didn't have capacity at the time, and it was sort of falling to, I was the one person who had the knowledge and background for it, and there was nothing that had been jumped out at us. And then, of course, we came across you guys, and we did some Tolkien stuff, and then you and Ian and I did our famously famous Star Trek: The Motion Picture anniversary show.
Oh, I think about that probably once a week. It's
Really?
glorious. It was such a fun. It was probably
It was.
the deepest I've ever dove into, especially into a Star Trek movie. Yeah, I got deep. I read books, David, in preparation for that podcast.
Well, that is who we are at the Lorehounds, is that we put on our exoskeleton, deep diving suits, and we go down to the murky bottoms, and we love that. So I was thinking that I was looking, we have a thing that we call the show tracker, and it's built in the Notion system, and that's publicly available. And if folks want a link to that, and what we do is we curate shows that we're interested in coming up for the year that we think our audience would be interested in. It's stuff that we're not covering from a podcast front, but just like, oh, this show's coming up. And the original reason it came up was because I needed to keep a track of what's coming up in a year and what's overlapping. I needed a Gantt chart to know that this podcast ends or overlaps with this one. And then slowly we built it over the couple of years. And so I was looking at Q1 and I was like, oh, Starfleet Academy, that's kind of an important show.
It's such an interesting time to drop it. Yeah, it is so interesting to drop it in January as well.
Yeah. And I thought, well, if our friends over at the Captain's Pod were going to be covering it, we should probably let some of our community know that you guys are going to do that. So I wanted to
come to us,
have a chat and do a little season preview like we do for a lot of our shows, where we sort of set up the show and we talk about coverage plans. And so that way people know what to expect, not only from the show, but also where to go get the content.
Yes.
And so that was fun. And it just gives us an opportunity to reconnect in the new years. So
any excuse to hang out as well.
That's right.
We've
100%.
been on for about 25 minutes already, and we are only 5 minutes in.
Exactly. Because we had a lot of catching up to do. We had a lot of catching up
we
to
did.
do. So I have some questions for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, one of the sort of frameworks that we share in common across shows is who knows what. Some of us know less, and that's part of being the audience proxy. So I'm guessing, Deneé, that you have not done a lot of investigation into what this show is about.
Yeah, you know me well. So on Captain's Pod, I am firmly the one that doesn't always know what's going on. In fact, most of the time I don't, because though I love Star Trek, I am on this journey with the biggest nerd, which is Ian.
That's me.
So I will watch content. A lot of times it's actually suggested by our fans. Like we have little seasons that we'll do. We just came off of a WTF Star Trek series, for example, where it was what the fun or what the whatever, the crazy stuff. And that was really fun. A lot of fans suggested there. We also just did our 4th year anniversary one where we went back and really did like a deep dive into Picard, the character specifically.
Wait, you guys 4 years old too?
Yeah.
4 years old.
We're so cute. We're twinsies.
Wow, we were ejected from the pod womb at the same time.
That's right.
But when a new show airs, like this one, Starfleet Academy, I go in completely blind.
Right.
There are some parts of Star Trek I haven't really even touched yet.
Deep Space Nine.
For example, barely any of those shows we have even talked about.
We will get there.
So yeah, I'm excited because this one is a new one for everyone at the same time. The last time that happened was Strange New Worlds, which I really, really enjoyed, by the way. So this is kind of another attempt at the franchise to give us something new to enjoy. And then I'm getting to do that along with the audience, which is kind of rare because I'm usually the one that is the only one that has not seen anything that we're talking about. And it puts me kind of in that fun little position of being like, I don't know what's going on. So my opinion is always based on just randomness.
And then I'm randomly, frantically trying to answer questions based on my self-admittedly quasi-encyclopedic knowledge of Star Trek, which is tricky given how much of it there is. But yeah, I will tend to be the one that has more context and more idea about the Easter eggs and where we are in the universe. But it's really kind of following Deneé through the journey. And yeah, we'll cover the new content that comes out. And then between new content, dive into the classic Trek.
You're
and
the
like
lore master.
Yeah, he's definitely the lore master. Yeah. Like, for example, I have no idea in what timeline we are in.
I was going to ask if you knew what year this was set in.
I have no, well, I mean, even if you told me the year, I still don't understand. So my Star Trek, like my baseline is The Next Generation with Captain Picard and Worf and Geordi LaForge and Deanna Troi and Beverly Crusher and Riker and other people that I am sorry that I have forgotten. Data.
That's the 2360s. That's when that
Dr.
takes
Pulaski.
place. Yes,
don't forget Dr. Pulaski.
Oh no!
Oh, that's a deep dive reference.
She doesn't like Pulaski.
I was really shocked when she showed up in some of our episodes. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, what's going on here?
So I literally have no idea what to expect. I don't know if I'm seeing people like back in Spock days or whatever. I have no clue.
Have you watched the trailer?
No, I'm going in totally blind.
Wow. Okay, so I just watched the trailer.
But we can do like little light things like that. Like that won't bother me too much. I don't need to be pure going in, especially for what we're doing today, which is, kind of welcoming other people on this journey with us. So whether you're somebody who has enjoyed Star Trek for a long time or you're just new, it's kind of our podcast is hopefully a place for everybody to kind of find that fun reintroduction or like nerd out with us.
So Ian, do you want to set up the premise of Star Trek Starfleet Academy for us?
I would love to. So, crucially, Star Trek Starfleet Academy takes place in the 32nd century.
Which means nothing.
Which I'm going to tell you what that means. It's the 3100s. So, Deneé, this is about 750 years after The Next Generation.
Oh no,
way
that
in
means
the
we're not going to
future.
see Picard anymore.
About 700 years after TNG.
Okay, quick question.
Jeez, that's a long time.
Way later.
How long do Klingons live? Because are we going to see Worf?
You're not going to see Worf. Unless he got cryogenically frozen, time traveled. It is possible we'll see Worf.
Okay, great.
It is highly unlikely that we'll see Worf.
I will mention that when you do get around to watching the trailer, you'll hear a lot of voices.
Yeah.
And we do hear Michael Dorn's voice.
Oh my gosh. Does this mean that, so in Star Trek, you know how there's like always the computer system talks back to you, But I don't think we're on a ship this time because it says Academy. So
yes, we are. We're also on a ship.
Oh,
because
okay.
Star Trek can't not be on a ship, Ambassador. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
So the reason
that's so Deep Space Nine versus Starfleet. Yeah, that's a whole other.
Even Deep Space Nine needed a ship. It had to bring in the Defiant so it could actually
That's right,
fly
that's
around
right.
and do things.
Defiantly, it did.
How big is the head of a
Indeed.
needle, and how many things can dance upon it?
Exactly.
Like, this is really esoteric stuff. Anyway, carry on.
love
Ian.
it.
Sorry, we keep interrupting.
No. You have to stop me because I'll get really deep into this. So the reason that we are 750-ish years after TNG is because this is a follow-on from Discovery. Now, bear with me. Discovery, if you don't know, Discovery at the end of season 2 of Discovery, which was a show that was set about
Please hold while Ian accesses his brain.
my brain, which is set about 10 years before the original series, so Captain Kirk. So it's a prequel to Captain Kirk. At the end of season 2, they got fed up of doing that. So they threw Discovery 850 odd years into their future. So that's
they did a Voyager. They Janewayed them.
They Janewayed them, but through time. So they went 800 years-ish after Kirk. This gave them a new place to play in. But the problem with this century is that there was a catastrophe called the Burn. And what the Burn did was destroy any warp-capable ship in the galaxy we think universe. I will
That's
not
extreme.
reveal anymore. But basically, it made warp travel basically impossible, and you have to rebuild everything. So Discovery suddenly became...
I laugh at your warp speed limits.
Indeed. Discovery became the only warp-capable ship, even though it was 800 years out of date. Yesterday, I see your brain. I see your brain bubbling.
I mean, it's kind of like taking a bicycle into the future and suddenly it's the most advanced form of
Yeah, but you just found out that
movement.
wheels exploded all at once.
Yeah, exactly.
You now have the only 2 wheels in the galaxy.
I can just hear the squeaky wheel.
So it made for a fascinating premise for season 3, 4, and 5 of Discovery. And
I think I crashed out at the end of season 1 of Discovery.
Absolutely fair. But Starfleet Academy takes place immediately after Discovery. So through the events of Discovery, we now have warp travel again. Starfleet is being rebuilt. The Federation is being rebuilt. This is the first year of Starfleet Academy. This is the reintroduction. This is the first year
Both
of
Deneé
new
and I are
cadets.
having the same
There we go.
experience
Yeah.
moment. Here. Oh,
That's the hook of the show. This is the freshman year of the relaunch of Starfleet Academy.
Whoa, that is so clever because it's
Right?
going to potentially be that like where the future great captains get to start all over again. It kind of like reset a playing field, so to speak, because a lot of times in content, you'll get to some great crescendo where there's technology, and there's great ships and there's amazing things going on. And then there's never a leveler. And doing something like this Burn,
Great
as you
leveler
said,
for
David,
everyone.
was a bit extreme, but like, where do you go from there? So for them to play with the idea of, well, we're still going to get back to what we love, and here's how we're going to do it. And we're going to welcome you to see the very beginning of how Starfleet would have happened potentially at the beginning of this, of like, they're kind of trying to recreate.
that as well, right? What was it like to be in Starfleet when they started it up? Well, now we
Yeah.
get
Do
to
both.
see, but 750 years in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the big logic that Alex Kurtzman, the gentleman that is largely guiding this era of TV Star Trek, has said, yes, we could have done Starfleet Academy during the TNG era, during the hype.
Right.
We could have done it with the Archer era when we're first starting Starfleet, but it's much of the same. Like we could have done that, but this is ripe. Like this period of time is
We could
ripe
have paraded Patrick Stewart onto the
Yes.
grounds, you know, and
One of the things I'm thinking about is with Star Trek, if you've never looked into Star Trek before, one of the things that makes it really interesting is that there are aerospace engineers, there are scientists, there's like so many brilliant minds that are writing this essentially fan fiction of what they wish they could do in sci-fi world. So there's nerdy things that are now being sent to my shorts feed about how these
How
ships
warp drives
actually,
work.
yes, we just watched one about how they designed a ship and here's how it actually could work, and it's designed by pilots, so there are some very passionate people that are making this content. So what I'm loving to think about too is that when Star Trek started, it's kind of like fumbling their way upwards. And so they'll add a new technology and then they have to kind of like canonically make it make sense.
Yeah. Oh, now we
backwards.
have to remember that this exists.
But now they actually can make things canon from the start based on all that they already have. So they can, not only do they set it all back and make everything even again for enemies and for their own technology and all the different things that they're going to play with, but also all of those manuals about their warp technology or whatever, that didn't get erased. That's still there. They just had to rebuild it again. So we get to actually see them make their canon make sense from the beginning too.
We hope that's what they do. This is the potential. There is so much potential.
We haven't watched it. We don't know.
The other great thing about setting it in this far off future versus doing it at the beginning of the OG Starfleet Academy is that guess what? Starfleet Academy would be full of humans because we just started. But now we get to have, there are, spoiler, barely any humans in this cast. It is a mix of it. There are some aliens I don't recognize. This is such a diverse cast, both in terms of actors, but also in terms of the species that they're playing as well.
Ooh, we get to see some really cool makeup stuff.
In theory.
Because that's another fun thing. Okay, so you'll like watch old school TOS Star Trek and you will see a man in a lizard head. And that is the Gorn, for example.
Yes.
And
I think we had when the one TOS episode that we did as
Arena, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Was it Arena?
No. It was the spinning the pinwheel evil monster.
With the Klingons, Day of the Dove. You have seen that one, Ambassador.
No,
you were there for it.
You were there for it.
I don't remember that.
But just some of the makeup and the costume, you're like,
and you love it. You love it because that's what they could do, and they still did it. You love it because they're like going to the prop closet and they're just gluing something on their face, and they come out and they're like, "Yep, that'll work."
Dude took a literal pinwheel and threw a bunch of lights on it and filmed it, and then that's what the alien was. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And we respect that because we like to. I mean, we wouldn't have what we have today if we didn't have what we had back then. And I love looking at the costuming and the all of the cool creature feature stuff. But now, not only do we have CGI and we have cool lighting and we have sets and all this stuff, but the creature features, they should be really juicy.
They should shine. They absolutely should shine. And this was one of the things I was most excited about in season 4 and 5 of Discovery is the hybridization that happens. So in 700 years, the old rivalries between the Cardassians, the Klingons, the Romulans, the Dominion, whatever you want, who knows what alliances have been made and who's intermingled. So what variety of Ferengi, Klingon, Cardassian do we have?
Let's go.
I want it.
Let's
That's
go.
what I want. And we did see some of that in Discovery, not nearly enough.
Right.
But I'm hoping that's what we get more of in Academy because we're not on Discovery, which is a 23rd century crew. This is a 32nd century crew training at Starfleet Academy and on the USS Athena.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Athena, interesting.
So imagine a world where you're watching a TV show and all the characters turn and look at the weird human that walks in.
Right. The human should be the weirdness.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas like on TNG, when Data would walk in, they'd be like, what's with the android? And now it's like, wow, so you're not even like half beta Z? What is going on?
Well, you've got nothing?
Nothing in there?
Yeah, nothing
Can I
at all.
see your
That's so
ears?
strange.
No gills? Nothing?
Let me see your toes. Are they webbed?
Your stats, your strength, your dexterity, they're all just sort of
exactly.
zero.
You just got a +1 to everything. That's weird.
Yeah, like what's up with that?
So dull.
Yeah, like in Lord of the Rings world, it would be the orc, the Urukai, everybody, the elf, the dwarf, and the human have all just like somehow merged into a new kind of like thing because the lines are blurred so much at some point down the line. You
might even argue that at this point, any humans that were pure-blooded humans aren't the humans you want to hang out with because perhaps there's a reason they chose to stay.
They're in a cult.
Quote, pure-blooded, yes.
Deneé, while you mentioned Tolkien, and I want to, just a side note, we should get you and John talking again and to have you come back onto a Silmarillion. He's getting back onto the Silmarillion.
Oh, good.
Story, so, yeah, we need you to come back over and do it.
Damn it, this is Star Trek. Get off my bridge.
So what should we be looking for in this show? What's the What's the setup here?
Oh boy.
It's at the thing. I see a picture of Paul Giamatti on my screen.
Yes. So we are primarily following this new class of cadets, not all of them, but a select few across a variety of species. They are our main focus. Holly Hunter is a huge get for Star Trek. Like, I love that we're at a point where big actors are like, we've been at this point for a long time, but I think any stigma that came with being part of Star Trek is gone, and big actors just like kind of want a slice of the pie. So
wait, that's Holly Hunter?
Yeah, that's Holly Hunter.
Shit.
Yeah, in the picture that I've brought up. So Holly Hunter is the captain of the USS Athena that is guiding this new set of cadets, but the focus will be on the cadets and how they get through the initial year of Starfleet Academy. And Paul Giamatti, again, another incredible actor, is playing the recurring series villain. He literally, I love this tidbit. He got the choice, because it's Paul freaking Giamatti, of, I think, 6 different characters. And they said, you pick and you get it. And he picked this character specifically.
It's always more fun to play the bad guy.
Yeah, he didn't have to play the bad guy, but he chose this character specifically he wanted to be the villain. And he and Holly Hunter obviously are 2 of the 3 things that I'm most excited for. The third, I'm not going to say because it's a spoiler. So you're just going to have to wait.
Oh, we already know what it is. It's all of the Star Trek nerdy talk.
I mean, yes.
Do we know if it's going to be like drama, humor, a mix of like all of it? Like, what are they kind of going for? Is this so like Strange New Worlds is kind of more of a drama and like almost historical, but then they'll pepper in different types of episodes. One will be a singing episode. One will be
which is the beauty of Star Trek.
Episode.
You can genre hop in Strange New Worlds, TNG, Voyager, TOS, Discovery. You can genre hop.
Yeah.
This is
this see what my I'll just give you my concern.
Yeah.
My concern was that this was Hogwarts in the 32nd century.
Me too.
Oh, interesting.
Actually,
I was thinking it was gonna be like with The Office or something.
I'm even more worried that it's going to be in between those two. So one of the trailers and one of the posters, there is an infamous poster, which is I don't have it in my back pocket, but it is a poster of the cadets laying on grass on their back in a circle, holding hands, all smiling. And it's been...
Oh, it's a cult.
It's been dubbed as One Trek Hill because that poster looked very much CW young adult
very
show,
CW coded.
90210. And that was clearly deliberate marketing.
Right.
I don't know if it backfired in a way that is going to get more curiosity or backfired in a way that pissed people off. I personally didn't like it, but I'm obviously still here. The trailer was very much Action Trek, very much Strange New Worlds, very much Discovery,
Agreed.
dark sets, an away mission, an invasion, a space battle. But the pitch all round has been young adults, kind of like 18 to 22.
Coming of age sort of thing.
Coming of age story, Stand By Me, kids in new Trek on the block.
Well, if there's one thing that I've always like been able to do, it's watch an episode of Star Trek and kind of see what they're going for.
Yes.
Even when things don't quite hit with me, I usually have a pretty good time because the conversations about like what it's referencing
100%,
or interesting tidbits. Those are all reasons that I watch it, but I have the privilege of having the nerd watch along.
Yeah. There's always an angle.
So yeah. I'm really I'm curious about it. I'm excited about it. For me, like the poster that we're looking at looks a little retro too.
Yes,
so it's like a return to the 70s sort of vibe is what it
looks like Friends. Like it looks like a Friends poster deliberately, I think.
I do want to say too that there's a show that they did. It's an animated show called Lower Decks. And so like Star Trek always hits, there's these different ways they go at making a show, but Lower Decks is like a canon show, but it's totally animated. It's fast paced. It's very Rick and Morty meets Simpsons kind of a vibe. And I really, really loved it. And I'm hoping that some of the humor that you really feel on that show starts to leak out into others. I do like taking a serious approach. Like one of the things that I'll kind of notice is that Star Trek fans like this could exist in real life. This future is a potential real future. So it kind of seems like it should be set in a more serious, realistic space.
A little utopia dream.
Whereas something like Lower Decks, the animated series, kind of is silly. And so it doesn't seem quite as serious and like modeled after what could be real, even though it's canon. So I'm kind of looking for a hybrid here, and I'm hoping that I see that, but we'll find out.
It's one of my favorite things about the 2020s era of Star Trek. This is the most variety Star Trek has ever seen. It has almost always been, you got to be on a ship. There's a good chance that ship has to be called Enterprise, but you definitely have to be on a ship, and it has to be episodic. Yes, you have the arcs in DS9 and Enterprise, but it is largely the same show with different people. The 2020s has been all over the place, for better or worse, in terms of the type of Star Trek that we get. And I'm here for the variety. I think it's brave. I love it. And eventually you're going to find one that you didn't realize was going to be a hit and could be the new TNG. It could be the new thing. Who knows? I'm excited for it.
So what is your coverage plans? What are your coverage plans?
Yeah, so it is going to be weekly. We'll cover each episode. Episodes come out of the show comes out on a Thursday. We will record generally on Fridays and have the episode up for our patrons on Tuesday, for the podcast feed on Wednesdays. So that gives us time to record, edit. But our format, our quirk of the show is that we watch the episode side by side, immediately record. We don't do multiple watches. It is our notes in the moment, then our raw gut feelings. And then as the season progresses, we might revisit some thoughts and feelings, and we'll do a bit of a wrap up at the end. But one of our quirks is that, I was going to say kinks, but it's a quirk, is that we just dive in immediately after we've watched the episode, raw feelings.
Awesome.
And see what happens. Yeah, we'll be doing that weekly. Episodes 1 and 2, we will be, because they release episodes 1 and 2 together, right? We're going to do a double episode. So we'll do episodes 1 and 2 all in one batch, one episode.
We also like to do predictions. Yeah. So we'll oftentimes, just from the picture
or the episode
title, try to make some guesses. And then as we watch those first 2 episodes, we make like season predictions and fun stuff. So it's kind of fun to just go, what do we think is happening? Theories. Yeah.
So we've got a 10-episode season. We're starting January 15th. Looks like we're wrapping up in about March 12th. You guys have a Discord.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Folks should head over there for conversation. We have some Star Trek channels in our Discord, but I think you'll have more fruitful conversation over.
Yeah, we have a few different channels. One that's just for Captain's Pod, where you talk about kind of like what we talked about on the show. Yeah. A general Star Trek channel for everything, and then a spoiler channel, which is like kind of split into whatever show is happening. So there is a group to nerd out with at any point. And most of the Discord is Star Trek themed. So there is 10 Forward, where you can bring your like kind of personal updates. There's loads of Trekkie nerdery in there.
And also a pets channel. I just want to mention,
there is a pets and 3D print channel.
We're not constantly nerding out. We also have a daily games channel where we like to play Wordle. So
just pets,
nice.
Pictures of pets all day long.
And are you doing a live element of this, or are you going to forego that for this particular season?
We're going to test actually foregoing it for the first time in a while. We've usually gone live with our content, and it's been super, super fun. And we're honestly a little sad to say goodbye to it for this season, but to stay on production, we're going to experiment with just doing the show in our studio and getting it to the podcast feed, or for our patrons, getting it early. Yeah. But we do plan to try to release some Patreon only stuff. So we also have our supporters there.
Yeah, this year we're producing more Captain's Pod and Ian and Deneé branded things than we've ever done before. And that just gives us that little bit of extra bandwidth to get you some more juicy content.
Fabulous.
Doesn't have to be juicy either. It could be really dry content.
Yeah, that's the best kind. Just a dry cracker.
Did I tell you about the 3200 specifically? About
and well, I'll watch along as well. I have my concerns, and then maybe I'll sneak on for a bonus.
Should we talk about? Should we be pessimistic as well? Because I have concerns I want to talk about.
No, we should not talk about concerns. Just the positives.
I'm really worried.
What
Deneé.
are you worried about?
I'm worried
Ian?
It's going to be rubbish. What I'm worried about is that because like the Paramount merger stuff that happened, and this was greenlit and made before all of that. Are they just going to forget about it? Yes, it's getting a season 2. We know that. But are they just going to forget about it? Like, this is Strange New World season 5 is done. This is the last of the Kurtzman era TV that we know we're getting. I'm worried. Is like, do they not
you're
think
worried
that
this is
worried? I'm worried that it's going to suffer because this is the end of an era. Like, this is still in canon. This is still playing in the same sandbox, but I'm genuinely worried that it will get a lack of care and attention because it's part of the quote unquote old guard.
Well, let's hope that.
Let's hope it doesn't suck. But you know what?
Yeah,
if
let's
it does,
hope it doesn't suck.
Listen, if it does, we're still going to have a great time. Like, we will just talk about it.
We have a baseline. Yeah. Section 31.
Don't you do it. I knew you were going to do it. Don't you do it. The last thing we had was Section 31, and Is
that like saying Macbeth at the theater or Good Luck or something?
It is by far and away the worst piece of Star Trek content I've ever watched.
And we should never mention it when we're talking about launching a ship or a fresh show or something like that.
It's just one of those swings that I hope we learn from.
Right. Exactly.
That's it.
Great.
We swung, we missed.
Well, this is exciting. I'm glad to talk with you guys about this. I have hopes for the shows. Maybe I'll sneak on for a segment or two at some point during the season.
We would love that.
That would be fun.
I was going to say, please tell the Captain's Pod listeners what's going on with the Lorehounds end of things as well.
John and I just started coverage of season 2 of The Pit.
Yes.
We're doing more of a reaction style rather than an analytical style. So we're going to just hop on the next morning and just do vibes.
You stole our format. How dare you? You'll be hearing from our lawyers.
It's fun.
We have a lawyer?
Yeah, the cat that just ran in.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat is our lawyer. Yeah.
Our cat lawyer is here now.
Radioactive Ramblers, which is another one of our affiliates. They're covering Fallout right now. And Night of the Seven Kingdoms is going to be our big one. And that's where, funny, Deneé, you were talking about trying to mix some styles of humor and genre. We're really looking forward for Night of the Seven Kingdoms to do that, bring in some humor into this very grim world. But we are doing something even like, if you think just a vibes-only show for The Pit is wild, for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we're doing a 2-pod crossover, 3 episodes a week, across 2 different podcasts.
Let's go.
So that's going to be with Properly Howard with Anthony and Steve. Anthony is our, book. He's been doing chapter by chapter coverage of all of the Song of Ice and Fire, and he's still in the middle of that. And he and his buddy Steve, who's a stand-up comic, they do a movie review podcast on our feed, on our network. They're going to be covering so how's this going to go? Sunday nights, whoever's around, we're going to hop on for a instant hot take. And we're going to talk for like half an hour or so, whatever we thought about the show. And then that will only go out on the Properly Howard. Then a couple days later, we'll have a normal deep dive analysis. And Alicia and John and Steve and Anthony, myself, I probably won't be doing as many as the deep dives because I'm not into the world as much. And I'm going to be doing House of the Dragon later in the year. They're going to do a deep dive for the week, and then that'll be out. And then at the end of the week, we're going to do like some feedback and deeper lore kind of stuff to sort of round out the rest of the week. So those 2 bonus podcasts are only going out on the Properly Howard feed, while we're going to cross post the deep dives on both the Lorehounds and Properly Howard.
Beautiful.
Feeds. Yeah.
That is some content. Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And I believe Alicia and Jean are definitely going to be doing some Wonder Man coverage. I'm not sure exactly what the plans are for that. So that's at least Q1. That's enough to keep us running for a little while.
Hey, can we talk about Pluribus for half an hour?
Oh my gosh.
Can we talk about Pluribus for a while?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We just did our season. This is my 3rd podcast of the day.
Let's go.
And we just wrapped up Pluribus with Nicole, and John popped on to join us with some of his thoughts. So it is full steam ahead over here at the Lorehounds.
Woo-hoo!
Amazing. Oh,
and if you have people who are into Oscars stuff, Alicia is going full bore. She's got, I think, 7 episodes planned to cover all pre-Oscar coverage.
That's fun.
Beautiful. That'll do
diving down into all the shorts and the music and all kinds of stuff. So.
That's
awesome. It's too much content. We need to stop for a minute. Let's take a year off, just catch up with everything, and then we'll start again in 2020.
Right, start again. Right. Yeah. Everybody stop. Right.
Amazing.
And then, we look forward to your thoughts. So we'll certainly be having them.
Like, do you have a feedback email where people can send in their thoughts?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Great question. let's talk about the one that we know for sure works, which is Ian and Deneé at gmail.com. That's IANANDDENEE at gmail.com. That one for sure works. The other one I broke, David.
Yeah, she did.
No.
Yeah, she did.
And I can't figure out how to fix it. It's going to be great. It's a thing now. At first it was like, I'll fix it as soon as I can. And now weeks and weeks and weeks later, it's like, I think it's dead forever.
Is
So
it
it's
an
not-
MX record thing? Is it a
Yes,
domain?
that's exactly what it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. And our webmaster is me and Deneé, and we are masters of nothing.
Let me know. Let's talk offline. I may be able to
Get your cat lawyer and our cat lawyer on it.
Get them connected. Amazing.
My Shep's cat is right here next to me. Everybody say hi, wave hi on the camera if you can see hi.
Hi.
Odessa.
Bird.
Mine is upstairs wanting to eat through the door. So
Okay, we should wrap it up then.
Yes.
Well, thank you for making some time. It is lovely to see you both, and I'm excited for our year ahead. Stay tuned, everybody. There's many things in the works.
Live long and prosper.
The Lorehounds podcast is produced and published by the Lorehounds. You can send questions and comments to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com. Get ad-free access to all Lorehounds podcasts on Patreon or Supercast, and connect with us on Blue Sky and join us on our Discord server. Links for everything are in the link tree in the show notes of this episode. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities. Thanks for listening.